Imagine a world where survival means battling mammoths, outsmarting saber-toothed cats, and enduring winters so brutal they'd make your bones ache. This was the Ice Age, and the Cro-Magnons, our ancestors, didn't just survive it, they thrived. They were giants, artists, and warriors built like action heroes and smarter than you might think. Today, we're diving into their epic story through the eyes of Kael, a Cro-Magnon hunter. Stick with me, because their tale isn't just history, it's a lesson in resilience that could change how you face life's toughest challenges. Let's go back 56,000 years. Meet Kael, a Cro-Magnon hunter in what we now call Europe. At 6'2", he's a tower of muscle, his broad shoulders built for swinging spears and hauling bison carcasses. In 1868, scientists found remains like Kael's in a French cave called Cro-Magnon, naming his people after it. At first, they thought these were a new species. Skulls with flat faces, upright postures, and chins, like ours, screamed different. But the truth, they were us, early modern humans, the first to conquer Europe's frozen wilds. Why were they so special? Unlike Neanderthals, whose stocky frames were Ice Age classics, Cro-Magnons blended brains and brawn. Their skeletons, denser than ours, suggest they were 20% heavier than a modern person of the same height. Picture Kael, taller than most NBA players, with collarbones 7.5 inches long, giving him the leverage to hurl a spear with deadly force. This wasn't just biology, it was survival engineering. I find their physicality mind-blowing. In today's world, we're cushioned by technology, but Kael's people faced nature raw. Their bodies were proof that hard times forged tough people, a theme we'll see throughout their story. Life for Kael was no picnic. The Ice Age threw blizzards, starvation, and predators at him daily. Fossils from Cro-Magnon sites show broken bones, infections, and even skull fractures that heal proof of their grit. One woman survived a head injury that would have floored most of us. Kael himself bears scars from a bear claw, yet he's still out hunting at 35 old for his time when most didn't see 40. Let's pause for a modern parallel. In 2010, Aaron Ralston, a hiker, survived 127 hours trapped in a Utah canyon, severing his own arm to escape. Like Kael, he faced nature's wrath and won through sheer will. Cro-Magnons were the Aaron Ralstons of their day, enduring catastrophic injuries with no hospitals, just their tribe's support. Their resilience wasn't just physical. Kael's people hunted megafauna, think woolly mammoths, and giant elk using spears, javelins, and early bows. They even took down hyenas and bears, animals that'd make us run screaming. But this prowess had a dark side. They may have driven species like the mammoth to extinction, a sobering reminder of humanity's impact. Today, 28% of species face extinction, partly due to our actions. Kael's hunts were survival, but they set a precedent we're still grappling with. What strikes me is their balance of strength and strategy. They didn't just overpower prey, they outsmarted it, scheduling mass hunts during migrations to trap herds against cliffs. It's like they were the Navy SEALs of the Ice Age, combining muscle with tactical genius. Survival wasn't just about hunting. Kael's world was violent. Fossils like Cro-Magnon 2, a man with a crushed face, suggest human-inflicted injuries. Another S-Gear one had a vertebral cut that stopped his heart instantly. Resources like food and land sparked conflicts, and some evidence is chilling human skullcaps from England's Goff's Cave, used as bowls, hint at cannibalism. Two of the victims were young, a grim echo of desperation. This violence isn't ancient history. In 994, Rwanda's genocide saw neighbors turn on each other over resources and power, much like Kael's tribe might have fought over a hunting ground. Human nature hasn't changed as much as we'd like. Cro-Magnons weren't just victims, they were suspects in a 50,000-year-old Neanderthal murder. A Neanderthal rib injury, likely from a Cro-Magnon spear, suggests they outgunned their cousins with ranged weapons. Some even speculate they ate Neanderthals with cut marks on a jawbone mirroring those on deer. But it wasn't all war. Genetic evidence shows interbreeding, like with O1, a Cro-Magnon, with 9% Neanderthal DNA, hinting at complex relationships. This duality fascinates me. Kael's people were capable of horrific violence, but also connection. They remind us that survival can bring out our worst and best. Today we see this in conflicts over resources, yet also in global cooperation. The Cro-Magnons were human flaws and all. Cale's life wasn't all blood and guts. His people were brilliant. Their brains at 1,514 cubic centimeters dwarfed ours at 1,350. They built huts from mammoth bones lined with pelts for warmth and organized camps with hearths and butchering zones. They domesticated dogs, imagine Kael's wolf pup, guarding the camp, and traded tools and jewelry across 200 kilometers. Think of the Inuit today, thriving in Arctic extremes with igloos and kayaks, much like Kael's people mastered their environment. Their ingenuity mirrors Cro-Magnon innovation, proving humans can adapt anywhere. Their culture was rich. 5 distinct societies, or a nation to Magdalenian, spanned 40,000 years, each marked by art and music. Cave paintings in France's Chauvet Cave depict lions and mammoths, while Venus figurines celebrate fertility. Flutes and drums suggest complex music, a universal human trait. Kael's tribe even used red ochre for body art, a prehistoric fashion statement. I'm in awe of their creativity. In a world of survival, they made time for beauty. It's a reminder that art isn't a luxury, it's human. Whether it's Kael's cave paintings or a modern mural, we express who we are through creation. Kael's people didn't vanish. By 13,000 years ago, 70,000 Cro-Magnons roamed Europe, their high fertility outpacing Neanderthals. They weren't wiped out, but absorbed into later populations, their DNA lingering in modern Europeans. From the Aurignacian to the Magdalenian, they built a legacy of resilience and ingenuity. Their story isn't just about survival, it's about thriving against odds. They faced a world harsher than ours, yet built communities, art, and trade networks. Their brains and bodies were tools, but their spirit was the key. Today we face our own ice ages, climate change, conflict, uncertainty, but their example shows we can adapt and create. The lesson from Kael's people is clear: resilience isn't just enduring, it's building something better. Whether you're facing personal struggles or global challenges, channel your inner Cro-Magnon. Use your strengths, smarts, and creativity to not just survive, but thrive. Kael's tribe didn't let the Ice Age define them, they defined it. So what's your Ice Age? Whatever it is, you've got Cro-Magnon blood in you. Go out there, face the cold, and build your legacy. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more epic stories, and let's keep learning from the past to shape a better future. As the sky turned to ash and the northern wind began howling through the mountain passes, Kael, now past his 30th winter, remained the first to rise and the last to sleep. In an age when few survived beyond their 20s, Kael still bore the deep scars of a bear's claw down his back. He still hurled a spear with the strength of youth, and he still moved through the frozen world with the quiet vigilance of a man who had seen too much to ever let down his guard. It was late autumn and the forest no longer sang. Birds had vanished and the prey grew lean. The tribe's hunters returned more often empty-handed than not. Children coughed in their sleep, and the women looked to the sky with worry in their eyes. The air was shifting, something old, something terrible was coming. Kael sensed it too. He had traveled farther than most dared, following fading tracks deep into the snow-veiled valleys. And there, beneath a rocky overhang, he found its signs of another tribe: bones, stripped clean, spears shattered, and the claw marks of something that was not a bear. Not even a pack of wolves would do this. He returned that night to the flickering glow of the main hearth. As the elders argued, in hushed tones, Kael sat silently beside his adopted daughter, Nera, watching the firelight dance on her face. She was only 6 winters old, yet already keen with her hands and quick to learn the bow. Her mother, Kael's mate, had been lost to a sickness 2 winters before. Nera was all he had left. The next day, the mist returned, thicker than ever. Kael took only his spear, his axe, and a bundle of dried meat. He did not wait for permission. He left to find whatever hunted them before it reached the camp. For 3 days and nights, Kael tracked the invisible enemy, moving through forests where no birds sang, and the snow bore the imprint of twisted prints, half claw, half foot. At dawn on the 4th day, he found it a lone cave, half collapsed, stinking of blood and decay. And within it, the beast. It stood twice his height, its eyes black and soulless. A hyena too large, too old, and too scarred to fear anything. This was no spirit. It was real, a survivor like Kale, and it had grown fat on the flesh of men. The battle was not glorious. It was pain, grit, and instinct. Kyle drove his spear into its ribs as it lunged. It tore into his shoulder, but he did not fall. He jammed the butt of his axe into its jaw, then drove his blade deep into its neck. The beast screamed and thrashed. Snow turned red, then silence. Kale returned days later, limping, frostbitten, and covered in blood not his own. He said no words. He only dropped the beast's severed claw before the fire and walked away. That winter was the coldest in memory, but the attack stopped. The forest slowly returned. The children laughed again. Years later, long after Kale's bones were buried beneath a cairn of sacred stones, Nera would become the first woman to lead a hunt. She wore her father's fur cloak and spoke his words: resilience is not just survival, it's what you protect so others may thrive. And so Kale, the last protector, lived on. Not in flesh, but in legacy.